You've probably heard people ask before, why do you care if I'm doing something that harms me? As long as it doesn't harm anyone else, what's it matter? And I distinctly remember one of those conversations in college, and my answer at the time was, because I would be selfish if I don't care that you're harming yourself. It's a decent answer, but as I've learned, it's actually incomplete. Hi, I'm Mike Antonacci. I'm here to help you become the hero God is calling you to be, and today's video is about how humans are social beings, which means there is no truly private sin, nor is there truly a private virtue. C.S. Lewis has this really awesome image for what the moral life is. So imagine a fleet of ships sailing. And your goal is twofold. One, to keep your ship in good operating order, and two, to not crash into other ships. Now, the two are linked. If your ship is not in good operating order, you're more likely to crash. And as you crash, it's going to damage internal and external systems, and then your ship won't be in good working order. And I really like the image because most of our moral discourse focuses just on the don't crash into each other part, but not on keeping your ship in good working order. Here's a brief thought experiment on, is there truly a private sin? So think of something that actually doesn't affect anyone else. And I'm going to think of a few common ones like, oh, here's a thought I had that's uncharitable, but I didn't act on it. But you are going to act on it. Maybe there's resentment seeping in. It can become words. It can become gossip. It can become actually being cold to the other person. Or like the area of sexual sin, even if both parties or all parties involved are consenting, there still is use. There still is selfishness in that act. And I think those are the two major ones where people say, well, it's not hurting anyone else, and even then, they still do affect other people. As Christians, the stakes are even higher. It's not just how we affect each other, but we are one body of Christ, and what hurts one member hurts other members. So the person you cut off in traffic, it's not just that harmed them, it's that the whole body, including you, suffers because of that. Dietrich Bonhoeffer in Cost of Discipleship has a very striking sentence. He says, we should think of the church not as an institution, but as a person. That means no sin is truly a private sin. This is partially why confession to a priest is a thing. Now, the biggest reason why is because that's the way Jesus set it up. That's like really the only reason you need. However, so sin is against God, but it also harms the whole body. And so the priest in the person of Jesus has the God part, but also on behalf of the whole body. That's why there's penance. You're already forgiven. The penance doesn't earn forgiveness. The penance is to repair the wound that happened to the whole body because of your sin. Just as there's no private sin, there's also no private virtue. Virtue is exercised around others. Now, some virtues are exclusively so, like justice is the virtue about giving others what is due to them. That has to be exercised around others. Where sometimes it's on your own, sometimes it's not, like temperance, like the moderation of good things. Sometimes it's on your own, but other times that is around other people. Maybe they present more of a challenge for that. So if you say, I'm a patient person, but not around these kinds of people, you're not actually a patient person. You do not have that virtue. Virtue is not this abstract in your head thing. It is something exercised. Now, just as sin affects the whole body, virtue affects the whole body. What builds up one member builds up the whole body. Going back to the C.S. Lewis image, virtue helps you keep your ship in good working order, and also helps you become an expert sailor so that you don't crash into other boats. One final point about that image that I've purposely neglected until now is this fleet of ships is sailing in a particular direction. It's not random. That direction is heaven, because the moral life is a response to the God who loved us first, and it's love of neighbor for God's sake. P.S. Be a hero today.